everybody, it's Max with Crypto Talk now. For the longest time, I used to look at Jasmy as being one of those particular distressed assets that tanked in value due to its country's quote-unquote regulation coming down on the specific asset, in this case, Jasmy. I kind of looked at it from the perspective of how I look at XRP, for instance. You have strict government regulation, for instance, like their version of the SEC coming down on them and labeling them as the Japanese version of whatever type of security they're labeled as being. So I said to myself, okay, that's what's going on with them. But when I took a more deeper dive, I found out that could be any more further from the truth. So without further ado, before we kick it into this particular deep dive on Jasmy and why you may want to learn more about it, we have to first understand what Jasmy is. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
As the internet has evolved from a static network maintained primarily by coders, it's also launched new industries and ecosystems. Our world and the economic landscape have changed and grown, but one thing has remained constant: large corporations facilitate and ultimately control our access to the internet through their centralized systems. Furthermore, centralized systems trade in data, which must be managed, analyzed, and used to build profits. The arrival of decentralized blockchain technology on the scene has offered an alternative to the centralized model. This is where Jasmy enters the picture. Jasmy's philosophy is built on data democracy, returning your data to your control. With Jasmy, you own your own data. In this video, we'll learn everything about the Jasmy blockchain, the use of its native tokens, and the future of this blockchain. But before we continue, kindly hit that like button to help more people see this video, and if you have interest in technology, blockchain, and Web3, then hit that subscribe button to get more related content. Thank you. Now let's get into it. First off, what problem is Jasmy trying to solve? Jasmy is designed specifically for the Internet of Things, or IoT. The IoT as a system includes computers, cars, phones, and even implantable biochip transponders. It comprises both mechanical and digital items which feature unique identifiers and are capable of transmitting data elsewhere. Organizations use the data they obtain from the IoT to improve efficiency and boost their bottom line. While the IoT promises to enhance customer experience, it comes at a potentially heavy price and chances for privacy infringement. The massive amounts of data involved create significant security risks, with the possibility of information leakage and compliance violations. Jasmy provides a safe, user-oriented environment in which data can be stored, saved or exchanged, all based on the data owner's preferences. Since we now understand the problem they are solving, let's look into Jasmy blockchain itself. Jasmy's blockchain platform is designed to recover and protect individual data sovereignty. It blends conventional IoT technology with blockchain technology, granting people the capacity to retain a secure control over their own data. Within centralized systems, data is collected, analyzed and monetized. Jasmy works differently. Its blockchain is decentralized and designed to protect users' data, giving them complete control over when and how it's used. Users can store their data in a secure personal data locker maintained through Jasmy's distributed storage. The network uses the Interplanetary File System, or IPFS, which combines a Security Knowledge Communicator (SKC) with Smart Defender technology. Now, let's look into how Jasmy works. The Jasmy platform creates and maintains the infrastructure necessary for data owners to store, access, exchange, and otherwise use their own data securely and safely. It accomplishes this through the power of its IoT platform's latest blockchain technology. Base modules have the ability to communicate securely and efficiently with IoT devices. Jasmy's decentralized blockchain technology creates an efficient and democratic process as data is gleaned from IoT devices, stored in data cabinets and protected with secure systems. Jasmy sorts data according to its quality and quantity, with a scale ranging from small data, referring to individual data contained on devices, to platinum or valuable data. Furthermore, let's look into some important things to note about Jasmy. First is that Jasmy was created by several former Sony executives, including Kunitake Ando, Kazumasa Sato, Masanobu Yoshida, Tadashi Morita and CFO Hiroshi Hirata. Secondly, though Jasmy is fairly new to the crypto realm, It is already attracting the attention of big names in the tech industry, including Transcosmos, Panasonic and Vio that are working towards the realization of a digitalized society. Lastly, Jasmy is the first legally compliant Japanese crypto coin and is listed on the Japanese cryptocurrency exchange. Japanese law strictly governs cryptocurrency transactions, which are subject to Financial Services Agency inspections. In other words, the Jasmy token might just be among the safest crypto investments in the world. Finally, let's look into Jasmy coin. Jasmy as an organization develops decentralized IoT platforms using a decentralized storage network. Hosted on the Ethereum network, its native token is Jasmy coin serves as a utility token powering the Jasmy network. The primary purpose of the Jasmy token is as payment for personal data from IoT devices. Currently, it's the only valid currency on the Jasmy network. As more organizations turn to Jasmy, the demand for Jasmy tokens will increase. Jasmy have a total supply of 50 billion. With a market cap of about $56.9 million. And currently trading around 1 cent. Kindly note that this is not a financial advice, but for educational purposes only. However, the technology and innovation underlying Jasmy combine to make it an exciting and versatile project. While the cryptocurrency market can be volatile, Jasmy coin has several features that help it stand out from the rest, including the continued growth of the IoT and the versatile and secure products Jasmy offers to manage private data. Kindly like this video and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to turn on the notification so you can get notified each time we post a video. Don't hesitate to let us know what you would like us to discuss on this channel. See you next time.
Alright, now that we have an idea of what exactly Jasmy is, I want to go ahead and draw your attention to something I found on crypto Twitter in regards to breaking down a little bit more of why this thing tanked from an all-time high of over $4, I believe, to losing about 99% of its value, and why it may matter to you. Because if anything, distressed assets, when they're really distressed and hit bottom, well, they can be really great. Proof in the pudding. Here's an example for you. VGX. I got into that in a bear market and it came in at roughly 39.40 cents. Flipped that, got about $1,800 profit. Well, ironically, swapped it for Luna Classic. But the point is, it was one of the few profitable ones I had in 2022's bear market. And I'm looking at all these particular different distressed assets, if you will, and I'm trying to make sense of it, just like anybody else. I look at opportunity. So is there opportunity in Jasmy? Well, let's get right into it. So here's this. And if anything, I'm going to blow it up just a tad bit more. And look at this. Shout out to this particular person. Because I'll state this, when it comes to Jasmy research, it is really far in, it's just, there's not a lot out there as far as converting the proper amount of research to something that's solid. So yeah, definitely want to give this guy a shout out at CYRILXBT, Cyril DeFi. He has over 27,000 followers, doing pretty well. Anyway, I went ahead and gave him a follow, and it says, if Jasmy recovers back to all-time highs, that could be a nice 6,000% gain from here. Now, keep in mind, I got into Jasmy roughly about 2 or 3 months ago. I came in at 0. I think it was like 0.006 or 0.006. I'll have to double check that, but it's well under a penny, and if anything, it's like fours right now. So look at this. He says, this is a follow-up on Jasmy and how far its ecosystem has come. The only guy you need to understand is what Jasmy is building. Now, before we get into this particular outline, or this particular segment, I should say, we have to understand first what the heck happened with Jasmy. Why did it tank so much? Is it because the whole thing of quote-unquote Bitcoin, or I should say, the SEC, the Japanese SEC coming down on it, where that's called. So when I look more into it, I had to go, for instance, to Reddit, and I found this really good reply of why Jasmy value spiked and dropped. And this is really well put together. So I'm actually going to read a lot of this verbatim because I don't want to skip anything on this. I want everybody to have a firm understanding of what happened. to finally clear the air, because let's face it, we live in a world where there's a lot of misinformation. I even thought that was the case. I thought, it's just strict regulations, and that's partly true. But here it is. So, for instance, it states why Jasmy value spiked and dropped. And I've known about Jasmy dating all the way back to late 2021, I believe it was, when it was on KuCoin for over 100% APY, but it was listed at a few bucks and so on. Thank God I didn't get into it at that point, but I did recognize the opportunity. And at that point, I never realized that people called it the Bitcoin in Japan. Literally, it's looked upon as that, and we'll get more into that here in a bit. So it says, 1, Jasmy was first released on MEXC on the 9th of 2021. So I should say January 9th, 2021. But listen to this. A little over 5 cents. Slightly under 6. Okay? There's a screenshot there. We don't need to show you that. What I'm going to need to show you is some of the other stuff in regards to some specifics. So it says, by February 10th, it was trading at $1.30. February 12th, Gate.io started marketing heavily on a possible listing and offering as much as $50,000 worth of giveaways. Now, of course, here's some particular screenshots. Created a vote to list it and received, close to 40,000 votes. There were many giveaways, such as airdrops for the first 1,000 deposits, airdrops for trading volume, and much, much more, right? Of course, everything is listed there. Due to this marketing campaign and participation requirements, Jasmy reached, listen to this, close to $5, right? On February 16th, the day it was listed. Now, between February 17th and the 19th of 2022, there were probably some sell-offs and panic selling, as the graphs indicate, like it shows right here. The price started to stabilize in the following months. At some point, this particular person could not identify the exact month, but Gate.io posted a message that due to local regulations, those holding Jasmy had 90 days to withdraw it. There were other coins affected too. Here's a pic of the message. I'm going to go ahead and show you that. So, of course, here's, they had to do, Google Translate basically, but it says, notification, Jasmy trading is currently not offered in your local, or I should say your location, due to regulation requirement. If you have Jasmy balance in your account, please withdraw within 90 days. That's the message that people got. That's the particular screenshot, right? Let's jump back to Reddit. So let me zoom in more. So anyway, we go further down into this, and it says, I'm not sure if MEXC has something similar. Now it's clear, let's clear up the controversy. Yeah, that's why you're here. And the warning message on Jasmy's website. On April 2018, a supposedly initial coin offering agency in Japan, managed by Mr. Hashimoto, Mr. Hattori, Mr. Y, Mr. Kanao, and Mr. Show, none related to Jasmy, started offering on Twitter and Line 10 tokens. Jasmy was one of them. Now listen to this, for 20 to 85% less. Some of these tokens were not even created yet, and others like Jasmy didn't even have a price that was even set. For Jasmy, they offered a promissory note in the value of, listen to this, 0.8 yen. Everything turned out to be a scam. Yeah, it's like, what the heck, right? But the fact is, it wasn't tied into the specific team from Jasmy. That's one of the key takeaways I want you guys to have. And it says, and up to date, 40 people did not receive their money back. Of course, this was written a while back. It says, here is the class action. And of course, we can view that as well. It's just, some of the legal details and so on. You're welcome to look into that if you want. But look at this. For the reasons above, Jasmy posted that warning message on their website. They are saying that they don't sell any, listen to this, virtual currency, did not participate, and do not have any affiliation with those who sold or are still selling it. Keep in mind that in Japan, they will offer to refer crypto tokens or coins as, quote, virtual or digital currency. You will see translated news and posts referencing, I should say, Jasmy virtual currency that has led many people to believe that Jasmy is some sort of virtual currency similar to Bitcoin. Hence why they refer to Jasmy as the Bitcoin of Japan. Now, we have cleared that up because I got misinformation when it came to that. And when I do these things on the live shows, I'm definitely going to address that and refer people to this. Now that we've established that, now let's get back into a little bit more about Jasmy and why you should even care about this, right? That's the bottom line. All right, so check this out. Gonna get back into it. So it states specifically, this is a follow-up on Jasmy and how far its ecosystem has come. The only guide you need to understand what Jasmy is building. Now, this is, of course, a follow-up based off of that particular video clip that you saw that explains Jasmy, right? So we get further into it. It says, you know, what he's going to be covering, what is Jasmy, how it works, updates on its ecosystem, conclusion. I'm telling you, I scoured the internet for some research in regards to this. So yes, I'm going with this particular guy because he did a very good job on his outline. You can see why he has over 20,000 plus followers on Twitter, right? So it goes to mention Jasmy is a blockchain-based platform that aims to promote equal access to data by integrating Internet of Things, which is basically IoT. It is touted as Japan's version of Bitcoin and offers a secure and safe way for users to utilize data. Yeah, and I realize I'm reading a lot of this verbatim, but a lot of this needs to be mentioned. So look at this. It says, with the innovation use of blockchain technology, Jasmy creates a decentralized and more democratic use of data where you will be able to, listen to this, store and control your data in a safe and secure manner, safely and securely manage and control your own devices, provide safe and secure use of your data under clear rules. And on top of that, look at this. Jasmy has a range of technological elements that aid in its mission. So what's the mission? Well, it's like it says, if you're unfamiliar with it, here's all the information you need to know. This is the stuff you guys want to know. Let's face it, right? So it says Jasmy has several key technology features and aspects that will help achieve its goals. If you don't know about it, then everything you need to know is right here. And here's that particular thread. I've gone ahead and pulled that up. And let's see here. It says specifically, here we go, that, let me pull that up again. Sorry about that. So it's in regards to this thing called meta storage, immersive game worlds, IoT devices and equipment. Like he says, let's dive in. So in regards to this whole thing of meta storage, right? So again, tied to, you know, the metaverse, obviously. It says, with the help of IoT encryption technology and distributed storage, users can safely store code, text, information, pictures, videos, motion, and audio for metaverse users. So this is not more than just being quote unquote the Bitcoin in Japan. There is a little bit of utility here, right? Let's face it, I hate to say it, but Bitcoin don't have much utility. So it says Jasmy achieves this through a personal data locker and the storage of files using the interplanetary file system. Jeez, that sounds like something from like Men in Black, you know. What's his name? He's like, you know, what does he says? We're going to have an intergalactic kegger. Forgot the guy. Rip Torn. Anyway, besides the point, right? Get back to crypto. This mechanism distributes data across users in a peer-to-peer network. All right. What about immersive game worlds? It says the Jasmy protocol enables the creation of storage of characters. Okay. Equipment, skins, and other metaverse game assets in the form of non-fungible tokens, NFTs. That's good. Because if anything, we do know when it comes to, especially if you saw my last deep dive video in regards to quant, we know that it's significant to have some kind of a mechanism being triggered as far as accessing the utility of what? An NFT and what gas is involved and so on. So that right there tells me, boom, there is some utility in regards to Jasmy, right? It says users can own these assets and trade them on a secondary NFT and crypto markets. That's good, creating value with their own data. Now, in regards to Internet of Things devices, estates, and equipment, a key aspect of the metaverse and its immersive nature, basically, it says this makes IoT and VR equipment important to the user experience. Okay, again, the metaverse. People are going to use the VR headsets. And especially in Japan, come on, I mean, kidding me? Like, that's, you know, they're literally the pioneers of video games. You know, Nintendo, you name it, right? Sega. Yeah, Sega. Yeah, I'm old school like that. Anyway, IoT technologies, sensor modules, augmented reality, which is AR and VR devices, can't all be used with the Jasmy protocol. And he says, all right, that's it for Jasmy, if you like to keep up to date and so on. But there's a little bit more in regards to this. So let me show you a little bit more. So, like he says, you know, Jasmy is a sleeping giant that most people choose to ignore. If I just got into it for basically the reasons that I heard that this was a distressed asset, I I did a little bit of research, but not to the degree that I did recently. And I was just looking at it from an opportunity perspective. But listen, for everybody, by all means, do your own research, right? This is not financial advice, but look at this. So it says, for instance, he brings us this, and of course he covers a lot of what you see right here, and a lot of this is old, but if anything, it was very, very well written. So it says, who's the team behind it, the tokenomics, all that stuff. So it says, build as Japan's Bitcoin, Jasmy is a tokenized platform that champions the democratization, of data by combining blockchain, IoT, Internet of Things, technology, provides an infrastructure that allows anyone to use data safely and securely. I know some of this stuff seems like it's reiterated, but again, we need to understand a little bit more about this, the tokenomics, the team, etc., right? So you're going to be able to store and control your data in a safe and secure manner, safely and securely managed, of course, on your own devices, like some of the things we pointed out before. But in regards to the team behind Jasmy, this is really, really something. This is one of the key areas I want to draw your attention. They include some big names, including former president and COO of Sony. Yeah, we all know about Sony. Shoot, I own every PlayStation except for PS4 and PS5, ironically. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, pretty impressive stuff to see that. Let me get to this particular page here. Let me see. So here's some of the people, right? Former president and COO of Sony Corporation, president and COO of U.S. Sony Engineering and Manufacturing of America, who is Kunitaki Ando. There's another guy, Kazumasa Sato. Apologize for not pronouncing that right. Again, that ties to Sony Entertainment and Sony Entertainment of America, right? That's really impressive, to say the least. It says, before we get into how Jasmy works, which of course we have a basic outline now, let's look at what they look to achieve in decentralization. Various companies are currently using digital technologies for process re-engineering and new value creation in an effort to break away from their existing business models, right? Jasmy provides an optimal distributed IoT platform to companies via two methods. And I will mention these two. I know, again, a lot is verbatim, but this guy did a really good job of just giving you everything you need. I went everywhere, and people just give you little snippets. This is a full outline. I love this. So it says, Jasmy utilizes edge computing with its characteristic of a decentralized process to manage Internet of Things connectivity. Supports data management via a decentralized network and storage, like I mentioned before. Kind of just want to reiterate it because, I mean, it's good to know some of these things. How does it specifically work? Jasmy, strategy and management support will work with you to develop your IoT business strategy and will be with you every step of the way from product planning to release. Kind of in a way like what Quant's trying to do, right? Where they have strategy and management support, right? They're trying to work with other blockchains and so on. That's good. There's a lot more in regards to this, like the platform, the devices, and so on. I like this particular part where it says secure data analysis, I should say. The Jasmy platform is optimized to gather, analyze, and utilize the data measured and sensed by the IoT using our proprietary blockchain technology. On top of that, some impressive key components for Jasmy's ecosystem is like some of the things you see here. Personal data locker, for instance. On top of that, you have Secure Knowledge Communicator, which is SKC, Smart Guardian, the Jasmy Solution Data Management, Jasmy IoT Platform and the Reward System, Payment Services, Jasmy Secure PC, and so on, right? All right, so let's get into, for instance, why all this matters to you. Like, why, okay, that sounds great, but, I want a little bit more. Well, there is a little bit more. So, this is from a different person. It says, Jasmy is one heck of a monster project, right? Nishimori and Asashi is the largest law firm in Japan. And the key clients, of course, are Toshiba Corporation, Morgan Stanley, and some of these other ones. But look at who's highlighted here. So this particular law firm, the key clients, of course, is Jasmy. That's pretty impressive. On top of that, I want to show you this. So if you're wondering about some of the things I mentioned before, right? You have to keep in mind, like it says right here, Japan's Bitcoin makes a comeback. It says Jasmy price has staged a strong comeback as volume rose sharply. Data shows that trading volume has risen by more than 65% in the last 24 hours to 131 million. Most of this volume is in a centralized exchanges, for instance, like Binance, KuCoin, and so on. Decentralized exchanges have seen little trading volume and have processed 112,000 in the same period. Now, look, here's the thing. It says specifically when it comes to all this that you have this right here. It says there's some speculation that the rise in momentum is because of the upcoming news of the ecosystem. In the past, we've seen cryptocurrency prices surge ahead of the major announcement. What is the major announcement here? The major announcement here basically is that Japan announced about 3 weeks ago that they were no longer going to ban stablecoins for their particular country, and we'll get more into that. It says a key speculation is that Jasmy could ink a major partnership with Sony. This is key, right? Because if anything, that will probably move the price. One of the biggest entertainment companies in the world. It is unclear whether the announcement will come and the details involved with it. Still, it is a possibility because Jasmy's founders were senior officials, like we pointed out, with the Sony group, right? So for starters, Jasmy is a platform that focuses, as we know now, is at least, they focus on data storage and security and so on. So you have that. So my thing is this: it's a distressed asset. All right, let me get a little more into this. It's a distressed asset. On top of that, we know that these guys used to work for Sony Entertainment, not just of Japan, but of America. On top of that, it's labeled as the Bitcoin in Japan. That whole thing about it was labeled as like a quote unquote security, but where you want to call that, like the Japanese version of that, is not true. And on top of that, we also know that they have a lot of things that could possibly happen here soon with the pullback of not having bans on particular stablecoins. Now, what stablecoins? USDT, USDC, and some others. We're going to play this particular video clip for you right now, and then we're going to jump into the last part of why I'm so bullish on Jasmy. Here we go.
The Japan Financial Services Agency will lift the ban on domestic distribution of foreign stablecoins in 2023. The new stablecoin rules will allow local exchanges to trade such assets, subject to savings through deposits and a cap on remittances. If payments using stablecoin spread, then international money transfers could become faster and cheaper, the report says. Permitting the distribution of foreign stablecoins would also require the introduction of additional regulatory rules, the FSA said. In June 2022, the Japanese parliament passed a law banning the issuance of stablecoins by non-banks. To date, no local exchange provides trading in assets such as USDT or USDC.
All right, so basically, here's the bottom line, right? I bought this, like I mentioned, I don't know, I think it was like late October, early November, something like that. And I came in at 0.006, right? So I seen this as low as, I think in the twos, maybe in the threes. We'll just take a double check on that. And I'm going to show you the all-time highs on it. And I know it looks like it's a, this is why people think this is a rug pull, right? They're like, this is a rug pull, Max. Why would you get into that? Here's what's appealing to me. And here's why a lot of people basically have labeled this as kind of like, they drawn that XRP connection, if you will. So the rumor was that due to, stringent regulation from Japan, because let's face it, I mean, they are pretty strict on their regulations too. The rumor was that this was deemed as the Japanese version of security, and so the price tanked. Hence why everybody was making that XRP connection. So in reality, it is what you saw on Reddit, and I did verify that from a few other sources and so on. But I'm looking at this from an opportunity perspective, because if anything, when we heard a while back, I think it was over a year ago, when that Japan was going to ban stablecoins, here's the bottom line, just to have a firm understanding of why the price tanked. You have to have a way to pay for anything, right? It's kind of like the saying goes, like somebody wants to sell something on eBay. It's only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it, right? Like, somebody's like, oh, I have a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. It's worth $100. Okay, well, is somebody willing to pay $100? Or are they only willing to pay 50 or 20 or whatever the case be, right? So my point is, to a sense, same concept in a way. So with this in particular, you have, for instance, what you see with this price. And again, people will say, well, this is just a blatant rug pull. But is it? Is it a blatant rug pull, or is it a perfect case of strict government regulation banning stablecoins? If you don't have the stablecoin pairing, hear me out, to pay or buy Jasmy off of Japanese exchanges or whatever the case be, then how does it get paid for? You get what I'm saying? So that in itself will tank the price something fierce. So here's a perfect example. Like you saw in that particular video. You have, for instance, Jasmy / USDT. Jasmy / USDC. If there's no pairing, that in itself is something else. Now, some people say, well, Max, what about all the people from all over the rest of the world and so on? You know, that's a very good point. But if anything, if a lot of exchanges were not listing this to the likes of only like KuCoin and a few others, again, you're losing a tremendous amount of volume. And as a result, I think the graph basically proves this point. Now, here's the thing. I look at this from opportunity perspective. I came at 0.006. So I put in a little over 600 bucks into this. I got over 100,000 coins. My attitude is, even if it doesn't reach all-time highs, like $5, I think it was, like it was mentioned before. I know you see 4 right here. But let's say it doesn't even hit 4. Let's say it only hits 1. That'd be 1/4 of the all-time highs based off of CMC. That's the you know, the risk to reward ratio, if you will. And that is very, very appealing, right? 1/4 of that would be $1, 100,000 coins gets to $1. Simple math, 100,000 bucks. That's not too shabby. This is one I'm looking to get back into. And again, just like anything, I would highly advise you to do what? Do more of your own research. I would go to, for instance, this particular site right here, which is the jasmy.co.jp site. Yeah, a lot of it's in Japanese and so on. But if anything, you could go here, read the white paper. All these particular things are things that you should do part of your own research before you decide to just jump the gun. And if you jump the gun, then of course, you know, that's something that you choose to do. Again, I'm not giving you financial advice, but I am showing you how I look at some particular distressed assets. To me, this is still distressed. How far more will it tank and continue to be distressed? I don't know. But when I see reports, like we just saw in that particular last video clip about Jasmy, let me take the frame off. Basically, you know, was it 3 weeks ago, releasing its tensions on, or releasing the ban of stablecoins. That's like, okay, now all this volume is going to come pouring in. Combine that with the idea that, for instance, they could very well have that Sony partnership. If they do have that, you think Sony is going to, Sony's a huge name. You think they're going to want to attach themselves to any quote-unquote rug pull? I don't think so. I think if anything, they do some of their own due diligence and so on. So with that said, everybody, I'm going to follow this closely. We'll see how well of a reception we get from our community and so on. And if you like this particular content, you want to see more Jasmy news updates and so on, all we kindly ask is you simply hit the like, where we can have the algorithm kick in and get this out to more people. If you also are new, by all means, like, comment, subscribe, and please hit that bell notification if you appreciate our particular content. If you want to ask questions specifically about Jasmy on a live show, you can definitely do that. We have live shows every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific for Crypto Talk Now. Thanks for watching this particular deep dive on Jasmy. You all have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next one.